All right, good morning. Good morning, world. And welcome to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. After a 7-week hiatus, yes, we are back. 8 out of 9 weeks in a row, minus a few real things, life things that occurred with us last weekend. But yes, we are back like a shark attack. We are back like we left some. We are back like we ain't got no clothes on our back. And for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so, all right, y'all, thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that has taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast. It really is to have you all tune in to participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, YouTube as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Apple Podcasts as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, Peeper Hernandez, and as well as this morning, Frank Noxes. And so today is September 24th of 2022. We have yet again seen another fascinating week in the sports world, where we saw a wild and fun week 2 of NFL action, as well as a begin of week 3, in which the Pittsburgh Steelers, they failed to defeat against the Cleveland Browns. And if it wasn't for an epic blunder, y'all, in week 2, this Cleveland team will be 3-0. Additionally, the rumblings, they begin to grow now for a quarterback change in Pittsburgh. And we as Bears fans are very familiar with this quarterback. And so we began to see now rumblings in Pittsburgh begin to grow as well. Even though within this game, the true narrative for me was Pittsburgh defense, as most NFL defenses, they cannot stop this dynamic duo of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, especially Nick Chubb, y'all, who is thus far on a roll this season. Additionally, we saw the brother Ime Udoka get suspended, and he got suspended for the entirety of the 2022-23 NBA season for clapping the cheeks of a Boston Celtic staff member. On the other hand, the Las Vegas Aces, they got it done. And A'ja Wilson finally got their first coveted WNBA title, as well as Becky Hammon becoming the first coach in WNBA history to win a title in her inaugural season as a head coach. And so as of this morning, it is just a bunch of whole news going on from the Greg Popovich coaching tree. And lastly, the MLB playoffs are heating up, and we are now down to the final 2 weeks of the Major League Baseball season. And so with that being said, introducing our guest for this morning, who is checking in live on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast for his first time, Mr. Frank Noxes. Thank you, brother, for joining us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. And we'd like to ask you, how are you this morning?
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate the pleasure is actually mine. I keep up with you all and, I admire from a distance. So just being over here is a pleasure. I'm doing quite well. You guys are early, but for me, it's actually 8 a.m. So I'm a little bit an hour ahead of you all. So I've seen more of the world than you have so far. And I can guarantee you everything is so far so good. So
that's great. Me and you, Frank, we're on the same time zone. And so fantastic. Yes. And so additionally, introducing my brother from another mother, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
I'm pretty good. I just want to say you wow. You wow for what you said. I'm gonna leave it at that. You wow this morning.
As we always do on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we have a ball, man. So yes, and introducing my brother from another mother this morning, Mr. Andy Jones, aka Peeper Hernandez. Good morning, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. That
Yes, sir.
Quite the intro this morning, man.
And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. First and foremost on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Nia Long got cheated on. Wait, guys, we are sorry, or I'm sorry. Our apologies here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. I don't know why Jamar Goodman and Ian Jones wrote this, but we are sorry for stating first and foremost that Nia Long got cheated on. We need to focus. All right. And so we are sorry. But let's get to the point. Ume Udoka, the head coach of the Boston Celtics, he cheated on Nia Long. He's been suspended for the entirety of the 22-23 NBA season for what has been stated as a consensual and intimate relationship with a female member of the Boston Celtics organization. And so, gentlemen, I want to know, we have an order here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Jamar always give first dibs, then in, and then our guests. And so I want to know you guys' opinions on this situation. And so did the Boston Celtics get this right, or do you think they should have handled this situation differently? So, Jamar, how do you feel about this, bro?
Honestly, I don't know if they got it right or not, because the fact of the matter is we don't know all the details. We just know it was, I guess, egregious enough for him to be suspended for the whole NBA season. On surface, like when you first heard it, it was like, okay, so he had a consensual relationship with another woman within the Celtics organization. He's in trouble. Okay. And then you hear he's suspended for the whole year. So to me, it has to be something a lot deeper than what's being said, and or it has to be something like real personal with somebody of high power within that organization for it to go to that extent. And then the fact that they said he's suspended and will be reevaluated afterwards, meaning, I mean, he still may not be the coach after the season. Mm-hmm. And I was just trying to do my due diligence, see if I could find anything about anything with this, which I really can't yet. But I will say Matt Barnes, who is, as you know, is part of the media now, one way, shape, or form. Right. To him, he said, quote, it was 100 times worse, 100 times uglier than he thought, whatever that means. So I feel like this is one of those iceberg examples where, you see the big iceberg, but underneath it, it is a whole lot bigger than what is, being displayed right now. So to tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know if they handled it right or not right now. It's too many unknown factors that's not being shown just yet. So.
Right. And Ian, bro, let me ask you this. Based off of what we know, do you think the Boston Celtics got this right? Or do you think they should have handled it differently?
As of right now, based off what we know, I kind of think they could have, kept it in-house,
Right.
But as Jamar stated, I guess Matt Barnes, he came out, was kind of defending them, basically saying, I don't know what he said exactly, but I'm pretty sure he said something on the lines of, they could have kept it in-house, and things like this happen every day. Granted, it's not right. It's those people's personal business. So I personally, I didn't see the point of, blowing it up. If he was still going to be the coach, I didn't see the point of blowing it up. They could have kept it in-house. But, as Matt Barnes stated, there's more details to it. So, we don't know. And like I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, the reason I haven't really commented on it or said anything about it on social media is because, I understand we don't know everything. They're just going to give us, a sample bit of it. And we're not supposed to know everything. And we're going to hear more about it. And the next morning, we heard more about it. So I'm pretty sure we'll hear more about it today or this following week. And it must be a real big thing for it to come out that way if he'll get suspended for a whole year. So, This story, it ain't over yet. So we'll find out.
Go ahead, Jamar.
Let me just ask you all this, like how, if the notion of keeping it in house, like, I guess you couldn't. Like, how would you keep this in house if you suspend the man for the whole year? There's no way you can keep this in house if you by the way, Ime Udoka suspended for the whole year. Carry on. Like you can't, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
so by default.
as far as suspending him for that's the thing too. See, we really don't know how deep the situation is. So for him to be suspended for a whole year, it's like they just came out of nowhere. Oh, he's suspended for a whole year. He did this, and that, and it's like, okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's happening in around with all the NBA teams that we just don't know about. But as you know, we don't know all the facts. We don't know the story. This could have been going on for a while. Somebody could be mad. It could go 1,000 different ways, and he could just be taking the fall. Somebody could be lying, or so it's a lot to it. That's why I said I wasn't, until I got with you guys, I said that's why I wasn't gonna comment on it. So it's more to the story.
Right.
It's a lot more to the story that we don't know, but eventually we gonna find out. It ain't over yet. For him to be suspended and possibly look like he's not gonna be back there. So yeah, it's a lot more to the story that we gonna find out real soon.
Right, exactly. And so, this is very interesting. And so, in other words, then you're stating that we don't necessarily know if he clapped them cheeks. We don't necessarily know that, right?
Look, you know what? All right, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. Apparently, he had to been clapping some cheeks for it to be this situation. I'm thinking it's the owner's wife, owner's daughter, something. I don't know, chief officer. I don't know. Somebody's cheeks of higher power got clapped. That's all I would assume, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, piggybacking off Jamar, it could have been somebody else he was, intimately involved with, and I mean, the girl, she might have got jealous and told, or right. I don't know. It could be, man. This story could go so many ways. You gotta, I don't know. Somebody could have been pregnant. It could be anything. We don't know. So it's
sound like a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah. So for like Jamar said, he had to piss somebody off in that organization very high up for them to suspend for not even the NBA to suspend him, for them to suspend him for a year.
Exactly.
That's the big thing.
Right. Yeah. Frank, we noticed you've been sitting over there chilling, man. What you think about this? Any thoughts on this?
Man, I tell you what, I have way too many thoughts about this because, for one, obviously, I don't applaud the storyline. I don't think that what Ime might have done is something that, it should be done and people should get away with it. I think we know that he had a sexual relationship. They haven't given us the details of what exactly happened, but the key line is that he was involved sexually with somebody and he got caught. And because of that, he's being suspended for the entirety of the season. Now, the press conference that they gave was really useless because it didn't really add any more details to that point. It really just reiterated that they're getting him out for this amount of time because of these reasons, and then we're not going to mention anybody else who was involved. So I think, you both have a point. Probably maybe he was a high-power personnel within the organization and somebody got pissed off. But I also feel like this is stuff that happens all the time. I mean, Phil Jackson was involved with the LA Lakers owner for a while. We know all about that. He didn't get fired or suspended for a day. So why are you trying to put a brother in a bind and not just keep things underlying? They could just fire him and not say anything. I mean, that's fine. They can give a chance at his life, at his, and keep it low key so that you're not, really just letting somebody go off and completely never have a job again. Because he's not going to recover from this. I mean, the way I see, they're going to fire him. They're going to say we've reevaluated this, and I think they're just putting that assistant coach on that, testing to see how he does, and if they're winning and keeping it to trying to make the top 8, make the playoffs, they probably fire him and say we don't really need him at this point.
Well, yeah.
So
I
don't like the way they handle it. I hate the way they handle it. I think they're just trying to get Ume never to get a job in the NBA again, because this stuff in 2022, man, can kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, guys. With this scenario, let's say if the Celtics do suffer, right? I mean, in basketball, they might not suffer that much because in basketball, I think we all can agree it's one of those sports where it's mostly controlled by the talent on the court. And then a few games here and there will come down to real coaching. If the Celtics are bad this year and they don't reach expectations, because I think Jamar and we had the Celtics as like a top 5 team in the NBA heading into the season with the moves they made in the offseason. And so now with this new head coach, let's say the Celtics get the 6th seed, 7th, 8th seed. Do you think they bring back Ime Udoka for that following season?
I think that he has a higher chance of coming back. I mean, what John Abernathy said in the comments, I kind of like really agree with, which is, I'm trying to find it. In a nutshell, if the new coach, gets to the championship game again, then it's like Ume, we don't need your services anymore. Goodbye. Yep. That's basically what it is. If the team struggles, then there's a higher probability of the man coming back. I guess if he keeps his nose clean, stay out of people's cheeks, and just gives a public image. Because at this point, it seemed like the man fumbled his job, fumbled the championship, fumbled the pay, and fumbled Nia Long. This man has more butt fumbles than Mark Sanchez right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, so in other words, it'll be a bad look, Jamar, if TMZ catch him in a strip club in Miami, right? It'll be a bad look during this offseason.
Oh, right? real bad. He should just stay in the house, don't say nothing, and
Yeah, do some gardening or something. Harvesting.
Do some sit-ups in front of the driveway like T.O.
Get you Drew Rosenhaus filming you too.
All right, y'all. Yep. And so yes, beautiful take, guys. And so yes, on that note, that is what we got this morning for this situation. But who knows, y'all? We could very well be covering this next weekend. Because if more details come out, we will be tuning in just to see what the real story is on this situation.
Brandon, if I can add one thing is they brought more attention to the team than necessary. Had they kept it quiet, they could go 1 year without salary. Nobody would know all about that, right? But now everybody's going to be questioning what exactly happened throughout the season. I mean, the NBA was very quiet until now. So I don't think they made things better, the way they actually handle the whole thing.
Right, man. It could definitely bring a big cloud over that organization. And I think we all can agree with sports, having a big cloud over your organization ain't never good. Nope. So, we will see how things turn out with this, guys. And let's now get into some NFL. By the way, let's read some of these comments. Jonathan Abernathy stated, man, the owner was like steady trying to find the motive for why I can suspend you. They try to fire that man without paying the rest of his contract. That's a good point. And so that man is playing lace out, shaking my head. On the other hand, Prescott JB stated, lesson learned, do not be diabolically horny at work. And so Prescott JB, he reminded us to not be diabolically horny at work. This is very true because if you're horny at work, you can get fired from work. And so you can't be horny at work. You gotta be horny at home.
Dude, that's probably JB Prescott's most chill comment I've heard in about 5 months.
I tell you, man, Prescott JB, we love your comments, man. And so you gave us a very chill comment this morning. It's simple, lesson learned. Do not be diabolically horny at work. And so, Jamar feels that, bro. I feel that too, man. Frank and Ian, we feel that, bro. Just don't be horny at work. All right. So on the other hand, y'all, the NFL last weekend and this weekend produced some fantastic games with some surprises, some as usuals, and some wow, that football team looks really bad moments. But of course, it's only been 2 games for most teams outside of the Steelers and Browns. So we can't overreact greatly to everything, but based off of what we've seen thus far, y'all, we will do on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast overreaction. In other words, is it okay to overreact to the following point, gentlemen? And so, with that being said, we begin with Jamar, we go with Ian, then we go with Frank. First and foremost, Nick Chubb, y'all, is the best running back in the NFL right now. Is that an overreaction, Jamar?
I would say no, because you can debate that he is. So just because of the complete package of what Nick Chubb brings to the table, between his physicality, between his ball carrying vision, between his productivity, and what he means to that Cleveland Browns offense. So I don't think it's overreaction for that one.
Ian, your thoughts, bro?
I have to go with Jamar. No, I don't think it's an overreaction. He's easily, top 5 running back in the league. He's always getting the job done. Whatever quarterback they got, you can count on Nick Chubb to be there and getting the job done, and sometimes practically carrying them to win. So,
yeah,
I don't think that's an overreaction at all.
Okay, I mean, because literally last weekend, if it weren't for that epic choke, Nick Chubb literally won that game last week, and it just so happened that they choked in the last few minutes. But yeah, Frank, your thoughts, bro?
I 100% agree. Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns, man, that's my team. So I might be biased, but I think he's one of the best in the short span of the season so far. I see him actually holding it up. He's gonna. I told you, the Cleveland Browns has to win at least 5 games this season. I think a lot of that is going to be dependent on him. So definitely, yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Is it an overreaction to think that the Pittsburgh Steelers need better quarterback play from Mitchell Trubisky?
Absolutely not an overreaction by any means. I mean, we know Mitch quite well, right? So, I mean, just look, the Pittsburgh Steelers are averaging 18 points a game, and in this day and age in the NFL, that's not going to cut it at all. Yeah, we know that the offensive line is bad. Yeah, we know that their defense is banged up. However, it's like you brought in Mitch to, be the bridge quarterback, to use his mobility to extend plays. So yeah, Mitch does have to play better for that team to even have a chance of Mike Tomlin to keep his streak of not having a losing record as head coach there. So,
Ian, your thoughts, bro?
This one is a tough one for me. I would possibly say it's an overreaction. He hasn't. I wouldn't say he's played bad, but he hasn't really played like lights out, football. I mean, the other night he hit a pass where he looked pretty good. He looked damn good. I was like, I didn't see this in Chicago. And then, he kind of probably hit a rough patch, and it was like, okay, now the offense is stagnant, that type of situation. So I wouldn't necessarily say, I don't know if it's him or, he's just getting used to, new team and that type of thing. But I wouldn't say it's an overreaction. I do know they have the clock is ticking because, they drafted Kenny Pickett. So he ain't got much window. He need to have a big game within these next 2 weeks. If you don't have no big game within these next 2 weeks, off to the bench you go. So I hope you know that. I think he knows that. I think he knows what type of situation he's in.
X.
Right, bro. Your thoughts?
I'm leaning towards it being a bit of an overreaction. I think he hasn't played with a healthy team yet. The defensive is is pretty banged up, and we've only played 2 games so far. So I give a man a chance, let him learn the team, learn the culture, and as the season grows, I think he might do better. So I'm leaning towards it being a bit of an overkill.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you make a really interesting point, Frank. If TJ Watt, I think we know y'all. TJ Watt is that dude.
Yeah.
If TJ Watt was in the game, I think maybe, just maybe, the results, I think they win one of those games, definitely. Because it's not like this team is getting a butt whoop. They coming right there. You know, it's any Mike Tomlin team will. You ain't finna just, not with Mike Tomlin. I don't give a damn who he got at quarterback. It could be me and Jamar Frank at quarterback. But you know, he gonna get the best out of you for sure. And so TJ Watt not being there and a couple of other guys, possibly that is a big reason, you know, why this team is 1-2. And so you know, yeah, but Jonathan Abbott stated at the end of the day, they are all professionals. Next man up. And then on the other hand, Daniel Jones, good morning, Daniel. He stated Mitch gonna be Mitch. He's an average quarterback at best. He's a backup quarterback in this league. And so, Jamar, what was you gonna say, bro?
Yeah, I mean with the TJ Watt thing, that goes back to my point to where Mitch has to play better. It's basically next man up. So it's like, yeah, Watt's not there. Yeah, the defense isn't, the same. But like you were saying, Brandon, like Steelers still in this game. If Mitch plays better, Steelers will have a better record. That's just what it is. It's a lot of the times these drives are stagnant. Like actually, move the chains, like do something, Mitch, make accurate throws. There's a lot of times where I'm seeing Deontay Johnson frustrated because he can't get the ball.
Right.
Play better.
Right. Well, Mitch, if you are listening to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast or watching, our brothers are stating to play better. And we as Bears fans, we have watched you for years. And so I'm about to turn my background to the Bears because we're about to make NFL picks. But yes,
this is awesome.
But you definitely got to play better because if not, Daniel Jones is stating you're a backup quarterback in this league. Jamar stating you need to play better. We saw you win games in Chicago, but we've also saw you lose a lot too. And so the clock is ticking. Stephen A. Smith, y'all, yesterday, he was going crazy on First Take because he stated at this point, Kenny Pickett is right there waiting. And so he wants him to start next week before things get out of hand. And so we will see. Wow, Daniel Jones stated that Mitch was the worst pick in NFL history. That's definitely a Bears fan for you. And Jonathan Abbott stated Mitch was making the throws, but it gets demoralizing when you have the ball hit off your receiver's hands. It kills the momentum. So, yeah, we got 2 points here. And this has kind of been a whole story in a way of Trubisky's career, y'all. It's like you got some people that think he's pretty decent for an NFL quarterback, but then you got some that's just like, it's not cutting it. And so...
I mean, Mitch is a play-action reliant quarterback. In this NFL, you cannot win with a play-action reliant quarterback, i.e., Ryan Tannehill. Another example, Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I don't want to say the last example, might make you mad, but I'm going to leave that alone. But those two for sure, you cannot win with a play-action reliant quarterback in the year 2022.
Say the last. Say the last.
Yeah, that's all right, man.
We're going to save it for another day. We're going to have plenty of opportunities for that one.
All right. Yeah, exactly, fellas. And so, yes, Nick Trubisky always brings up a lot of great debate here in the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. But all right, y'all, let's move on to the Big D in Dallas. Upon the injury of Dak Prescott, are the Dallas Cowboys, y'all, toast going forward with Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback? Or is this just an overreaction, or is it too early to tell? How do you feel about that, Jamar?
I mean, no, it's not an overreaction because the Dallas Cowboys was toast with Dak Prescott as quarterback this year. So, Dallas, they're trash by default. I'll say this much. I'm pretty sure they was, feeling some type of way watching Amari Cooper go to work for the past couple of weeks here, knowing darn well they gave him away for an empty bag of Skittles for whatever reason. I don't know. They didn't want to pay the man. He became a cap casualty. Now the Dallas Cowboys out here as a whole organization like a burnt toast at a press conference. So therefore, Not overreaction.
All right, Ian, how do you feel, bro?
Trash. It's not an overreaction. They're trash. They're gonna go 3-12 or something. They trash. They trash. And I'm tired of seeing them on national TV every week. Why we have to watch them on national TV every week?
It's the Notre Dame effect. They kind of like, got that effect. Yeah.
They grandfathered in.
Yeah, man. I'm sick of it. We got to see them every Thanksgiving. I got to see them every Monday night or Sunday night. The games are boring. They suck.
Right.
And they're not going to be good until Jerry Jones let that team go.
Interesting, man. That's interesting.
CeeDee Lamb is not a number one receiver. I'm on the Shannon Sharp train. He's not a number one receiver.
This is interesting. I agree with you, Ian, on the real. I don't think he's a number one receiver. Yeah.
And I like CeeDee Lamb. He's not a number one receiver.
Not a number one. What do you think, Jamar?
My bad, Jamar. That was a little bit much.
Dude, I might have to go outside, man. It's too hot here right now. Oh my gosh.
And so the comment stated, y'all, Dwayne Hawkins stated, because they got the money. They do. Jerry Jones, billionaire, sorry. All the money in the world. Daniel Jones stated, I'm still trying to figure out why they are still America's team and get so much press. No other garbage team get this press. And Lamb is a good number 2 receiver. Dan Jonathan Abernathy stated Jerry Jones owns the TV station. That's why they have the spotlight every year.
Basically.
What?
So Frank, go ahead, Jamar. Go ahead.
Sorry. What I don't want to see with CeeDee Lamb is what happened with Juju Smith-Schuster. After Antonio Brown left, Juju got exposed in Pittsburgh. He couldn't be a number 1. I hope the same does not become with CeeDee Lamb. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a talented receiver, man. I hope he reaches potential. Frank.
Yeah.
I agree.
Darn right.
I'm gonna have to go with Jeremiah and Ian on here, but it's not an overreaction. I think they're definitely all over the place, the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're always on the big games screen every single time, and they haven't won in a while, so it doesn't really make sense at all. Somebody needs to figure out a way to take them off the TV now. Yeah.
All right. Frank broke it down very simply. All right.
I can't match Jamal's energy on here, so
Right. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the Niners. And Prescott JB, we know you are good friends with Jimmy Garoppolo. This is an Eastern Illinois thing going on here. And so, Jamar, Cal Shanahan, did he make a mistake by putting Trey Lance out there too early as the starting quarterback for the 49ers? Is this an overreaction?
This one's a little tough because the sample size of Trey Lance and the situation that occurred with Trey Lance is so premature that there's no real definitive answer here. But I would say maybe the whole Trey Lance being a 49er, trading up for him itself was probably an overreaction just based on the fact that, hey man, Jimmy G got y'all to the NFC Championship game like 2 times out the last 3 years, got you to a Super Bowl. I mean, maybe he should have connected with Emmanuel Sanders on that late pass late in the game to win the Super Bowl, but nevertheless, I mean your boy who fixed that category, which I don't want to mention no more, but he was getting the job done. So therefore, I would say the whole situation itself is an overreaction. Why broke what's not? Why fix what does? You know what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
Broke, don't fix it. Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Go ahead, Ian. Your world, bro.
This one is tough because it's almost like
It's like getting an incomplete on your assignment. We don't know.
Yeah, this one is tough. I really don't know, and I don't think it's an overreaction because I feel like the reason that he got that playing time, and I mean, they took him number 2. So it's like, I can't pay him all his money and then have him sit on the bench forever. So we have to push him out there to kind of see what he got. But me personally, I don't think that team has any connection to Trey Lance. I don't think they think he is it. You know, Jimmy G came in when he got hurt, and the team just look like the 49ers, you know. I don't think that team believes in Trey Lance yet. And then for him to get injured again, he's going to miss another season. So in college, he played that 1 year. They were undefeated. Cool. Then COVID hit. They literally played one game. They won that game, and he didn't play the whole year. So then he didn't play last year. So now he gets a chance to start, and he gets hurt within a game and not even a game and a half, a game and a quarter. And now he's going to miss a whole nother year. So that's about 3 to almost 4 years of him not playing football with no experience. And, you know, he's coming from D1 AA to, you know, the NFL. So at this point, I don't know. And then they kept Jimmy G for a reason. Just imagine if they didn't keep Jimmy G. That would be a complete shit show. If they just traded him or let him go, and boom, he gets injured for the whole year.
They was trying the whole off season, right? We was even talking about this last year, as you guys, everybody know. If you watch the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, me, Jamar, and was talking about this as soon as they lost the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
What's the scenario with Jimmy G? Is he going to get traded? It's likely to happen. And they were trying the whole offseason hard.
The whole offseason. So now it's like, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, they didn't make the bad decision, but it's a reason that they kept him around. So now, going into next season, let's just say, you know, they go back to the playoff, go to the NFC Championship game again, hell, even go to the Super Bowl. What they gonna do with Trey Lance? What are you gonna tell the team? Are we gonna trade Jimmy G, you know, the leader of the team, and you know we go put Trey Lance back in?
Right. I would even go in if they even make a divisional round or something like that, have a winning record. Yeah. Period. Because it's not like, and Jamar, you know this. If Jamar, he has been firm in stating for the talent reasons. You know, everybody. Jamar breaks down football, Destination Fantasy Podcast. Ian breaks down football, TPM Sports Podcast. TPM Sports Talk Podcast. The talent is the reason why they went with Trey Lance. But as I've been stating for the longest here on the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast, I'm sorry, Jimmy G might not be super flashy, but he puts W's on the board. It's just as simple as that. Look, it just matches well with the overall team and they get in.
I mean, you're speaking facts. So let me just put in perspective, like, what is up with teams trading up to draft quarterbacks that has potential that wasn't really proven in college? I mean, Trey Lance is one of them, because the Niners could have took our quarterback, who actually looks like a way better prospect than Trey Lance right now. And then just go back a few years before, our dumb team traded up and took Mitch instead of taking Deshaun Watson. Blah, 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 based off of 1 year of college football at North Carolina with an 8-5 record that never took a snap under center because of potential. Like these teams are drafting quarterbacks based off of potential in a small sample size, and is in for a rude awakening. And as much crap as I have given about Jimmy G to you over the years, I mean, Jimmy G is by far the best quarterback for this situation in that team, based on everything that we know so far. So I'm gonna give you your due on that one. So there you go.
Thank you, Jamar. This is the first time in history on the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast that Jamar is giving me my due. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Say this clip.
Great. We see over there, bro. You got any thoughts on this situation? Like, this no reaction or what?
I think Trey Lance got so much bad luck. You know, I don't want to say it's an overreaction. I think they were giving him a chance, and you know, it just bad luck went his way.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in player development. I think that was one game where he needed some development opportunity, and it just didn't go the way it should have gone. So I don't want to say it's an overreaction, man. I think he just got bad luck on his side. Too many injuries every single time. So,
Yeah.
but maybe this will give him a chance to, muscle up, eat well, and get back at it, or never.
Right, we'll see. It's a very interesting situation because he's talented.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Jimmy G puts the W's on the board, and he's a great leader. And so we'll see how things turn out with that situation. Y'all stay tuned, because if the 49ers are not a good team, Trey Lance is right there in the background. You hear the rumbles. But if the 49ers go on and they win and they make the playoffs, like you say, Ian, then Trey Lance did we make a mistake? And so we will see how this turns out. As it is with a lot of these situations, time will tell. On the other hand, y'all, is it an overreaction to state that the Buffalo Bills are the best team in football?
No, not at all. Not at all. I firmly believe that they are the best team in football, without a doubt. I mean, the first 2 weeks, they have shown that they are still upset about last year. They are out here collecting receipts and making statements. They went into LA and dismantled them. They embarrassed the Titans.
Embarrassed.
Like, to the point where they probably just questioned everything that they did this offseason. Like, nobody told them to trade AJ Brown. Nobody told them to stick with Ryan Tannehill. But yet they thought they was doing something. No, the Bills are a complete team. Von Miller unlocked that defense the same way Stephon Diggs unlocked that offense a few years ago. Josh Allen is taking no prisoners. Receivers are on point. Pass rush is on point. Secondary is on point. I mean, I think Derrick Henry had 25 rushing yards, 20, maybe less than 30 for sure.
They put him on. Yeah,
and that was a guy that used to torment him. He
has highlights against the Bills, y'all. Go on YouTube.
Yeah,
Josh Norman, where are you, man? But nevertheless, the Bills are the best team in football. It's Bills Mafia for real.
Yeah, but Jamar, you as my brother, you and Ian know why I put that out there. They play the Dolphins tomorrow, so is it too early to tell? Or is it just?
You asked the question: is it overreaction if the Bills are the best team in football? I'm saying it's not. I'm not saying that the Dolphins aren't bad at all by any means. I mean, Dolphins showed us something last week, some resiliency for real. But I think the Bills, they on a real mission here.
All right, y'all heard it here first. Yes, sir. Ian, your thoughts, bro?
Remember we had that conversation about who's the best quarterback in football right now? Josh Allen.
Ian, what did I put? Ian, where did I put Josh Allen again? I forgot. I put him.
I don't even think you put him in the top 5, did you?
If he did, it was 5, and then after that first game, he put him in the top 3. So I don't know. I'm curious to where he got him at now.
So
he got to work his way up. Man.
I think he didn't work his way up. So I would say this: no, it's not an overreaction. As it stands right now, when going into week 3, Bills are the best team in football right now. Like Jamar said, they look hungry. They on a mission. That playoff game in Kansas City last year told me everything I needed to know about Josh Allen. Everything I needed to know.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like they ain't never left. Like they just that game was last week, and they just going on to the next game and say we out here whooping ass and we taking no names. We won what's ours. We felt like we won that game last year. So they like they hungry. Then the addition of Von Miller, Stephon Diggs, he just out here just torturing him, and Josh Allen. They just out here torturing defenses. Like it ain't even funny. So they doing it against pretty good defenses. The Titans have a pretty decent secondary.
Facts.
They got one of the best safeties in the league, and Stephon Diggs, he torched Jalen Ramsey, arguably the best corner, one of the best corners in the game right now. So I mean, at this point, I mean, it just look easy right now. It look easy right now. It's gonna be a pretty exciting game between them and the Dolphins, based on what the Dolphins did last week, which was pretty impressive in my eyes. I was glad for Tua, but yeah, the Bills, they looking like the top dog right now, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Frank, your thoughts, bro?
Oh yeah, man, everything is clicking for them. And they can't seem to make a mistake. They just Josh Allen is going at it. I think Jeremiah is right by saying they're hungry. They want to go back all the way. Let's see how it transpires, though, man. It's only two games, so yeah, let's see how they play against the Dolphins and some more tighter defenses. I think they're a good team, but I think Kansas City is better.
All right. Hey, I'm telling you, those two teams play, man. I'm stopping everything. I'm putting everything down.
I definitely want to see them play.
Seriously. Yes, sir. And so, yeah. All right. Frank believes that it's an overreaction because he got to see them play against the Dolphins, and he believed that man Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City is still a top dog. And so, all right, y'all. Just an FYI, everybody, we have been ranking our top 5 and top lists of every position player in the NFL. And so for this week, y'all, we won't go necessarily and talk about this, but we will post this on the page. And we will give our top 5 corners in the league and our top 3 safeties. And so expect from us, y'all, wind down of our top guys in the safety and corner world. We will post that on the page for this week. And so let us get into our NFL Week 3 picks. We got a lot of good ones coming up, and that includes the Bills and the Dolphins. And so let's get into that now. And so Jamar, you start us off, bro, and you follow up, and then Frank, you follow up as well. And so Chiefs head coach, Jamar, who you got, bro?
You know what? I'm gonna leave Coach Nation alone, man. I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna just say Kansas City and leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave him alone for another week.
Yeah. And who you got, bro?
I got Pat. They've been balling on another level. I think them losing Tyreek kind of is going to be a blessing in disguise. I got Kansas City.
Frank, who you got, bro? And you are a Colts fan here.
I'm right here in Indianapolis, but I'm sorry, man. It's going to be a big blowout. I might as well say it will be a 7-38 win against the Colts. The Chiefs are going to blow them out of their own stadium. So.
All right.
That's funny.
You go blow them out the stadium.
Frank said it, not me.
And so yeah, it sounds like we all agree with the Chiefs here. But this is a good one, y'all. As Bears fans, this is an emotional game for us, Jamar and Ian. Lovie Smith is returning to Soldier Field. He has given us so many great memories. He has led us to the Super Bowl, led us to multiple first-round buys, multiple win seasons. He comes in tomorrow with a Houston Texans team that's young, but at the same time, they seem to be fighting a little bit. You know, they don't seem like they're just a pushover team. They're going up against our Bears tomorrow at Soldier Field. Who you got for this one? Does Davis Mills come out and shock the world tomorrow, Jamar?
I don't think he comes out and shocks the world tomorrow, but I think Davis Mills definitely sling the ball around. Like Davis Mills, I mean, I know majority of us, if not all of us, are not sold on the guy, but I don't think he's like an absolute 100% scrub either. I don't. With that being said, I'm going to take the team that's in my background here. I just think that we are more fundamentally sound. I feel like after, last game's performance, I think they're going to actually make an emphasis to unleash our quarterback and actually, throw the ball a lot more than 11 times. And I think we'd be able to run on. I just like our team's chances on this one. I'm taking our team.
Yeah. Ian, who you got, bro?
I mean, it's pretty simple. I got the Bears. I think the run game looks magnificent. I love it. Montgomery had like 14 carries for like 100 yards last week. I mean, it's perfect. But we gotta get the passing game together. We can't pass the ball 11 times in a game that we're gonna win in this league today. So the offense get it together this week, put more wrinkles in, pass the ball more, unlock Justin. I feel like we can blow the Texans out. Our defense is pretty solid. As long as we get after the quarterback, secondary looks pretty solid. I'm banking on Eddie Jackson to have a big year like he had in 2017, 2018. I think we get to 2-1.
Right. Frank, who you got? Texans or Bears?
Bears. I think Texans have yet to win a game. I love Lovie Smith. He's a great coach. I think he's going to build the Texans to a good team, but not there yet. I think the Bears are going to win this one easy.
My man.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I'm interested to see how the Texans defense perform because I know Lovie Smith is a master of turnovers. He got that team playing hard, so I'm interested to just see how they look. But Davis Mills, Jamar stated he's not 100% scrub. Last week, man, he looked terrible. But we'll see. We'll see how this guy come out and perform. But from a football perspective, I think the Bears do have the better overall team. So I'm gonna go with the Bears as well. The Saints at the Panthers. Jamar, do Baker Mayfield get his first W tomorrow?
Absolutely not. No. I'm sorry, Baker. I know this is supposed to be your redemption tour for you to save your career, but it's not going to happen in this one. No, Saints just a better overall team. That pass rush is about to be ferocious. He can't throw to one side of the field because I think Lattimore is that darn good. I just think the Saints actually take care of the ball and handle business. I got the Saints.
So I ain't gonna lie to you. This is a tough one. The first week of the season, I watched Jameis Winston. He came and led them to a comeback. He threw 2 or 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Magnificent. He got to eat him a W. Yeah. And last week he let me down, man. He went and threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. And he looked like he didn't even know how to play football. And I'm like, James Winston, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I don't know what we gonna get from the Saints. I don't know. It's just, Jameis, he up and down. I don't know if we gonna get, he come out, throw 5 touchdowns. He look like top 5 quarterback. And next week he come throw 5 interceptions in 5 possessions. So I love what the Panthers got besides their quarterback. This is a real tough one for me. I just don't think Baker.
By the way, y'all, Aaron Jones love the Panthers.
Yeah, man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go upset. I'm gonna say Baker Mayfield, and I'm not even a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm gonna say that he gets his first win.
All right. Got the Panthers pulling out an upset. All right. Frank, who you got?
Man, the Panthers are going 3-0. There we go. They can't win this game. I think the Saints ran into a better monster last time, so that they couldn't win the game last weekend. But this is one game where they can actually recover from that. Baker Mayfield is going to go 0 to start off with the first 3 games. So Saints win.
All right. Simple as that. And so The Raiders, y'all. The Raiders are 0-2, and the Titans, Jamar, are 0-2. Somebody finna go 0-3. And so are the Titans at this point now, Jamar? We'll see. It's just a question. But are the Titans at an epitome now, at crossroads? Because if they have a losing record after all the success they had, a lot of eyes will begin to start to finally look at Brandon Tannehill. And so just curious, tomorrow, who you got, man? Do the Raiders get their first win or the Titans?
The Raiders are going to dog walk the Titans. I am sorry. The Titans, I mentioned it about 15 minutes ago, the Titans sealed their own fate. The moment they got rid of A.J. Brown and didn't have an adequate replacement for him, that was the day that Derrick Henry's running lanes went down the window. That was the day that Ryan Tannehill turned back into the Miami Dolphins version himself. And the rest is history. I have the Raiders winning this game.
And who you got, bro?
I mean, it's simple. I got the Raiders. I think Devontae Adams, he's probably gonna go crazy. He got shut down last week, but I think he's gonna go crazy this week. I got the Raiders in a blowout.
Frank, who you got?
Raiders as well. I think the Titans defense is dead. I don't know why. They just can't seem to play, good defense. They're allowing too many yardage to be converted into first downs. And it's going to be a walkover. Raiders will win this.
It's interesting because, Frank, in week one, the Titans defense looked like the Titans defense last year. They had a multiple sacks. They should have won the game week one, if y'all remember. They lost off the field goal attempts, etc. But the Titans, and then last week they got whooped by the Bills, whooped really bad. And so it really brings up that question again, the Bills really that good because they beat the hell out of the
Right.
And so, I got the Raiders with you guys as well. It'll be a very interesting game to see if the Titans go 0-3. So Ian, follow up, bro. We got the Bengals at the Jets. And so is it possible, man, that the Jets will be 2-1 and the Bengals after they Super Bowl run last year 0-3?
No, I think the Bengals will get their first win this week. I expect a big game out of Jamar and those guys over there.
Yeah. Yep. Frank, who you got? Bengals or the Jets? Do the Jets pull off they get a big win tomorrow?
I see that happening. I think 2-0 is going to be enough for them to be energized and ready to prove something. So, and the Jets, they're beatable. So I think Bengals can win this game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I got the Bengals winning this game tomorrow as well. The Jets are lucky to be 1-1. But hey, man, maybe Joe Flacco, he's back, y'all. Who knows? So we're gonna see what the Jets do tomorrow. They came back last week and surprised, and they won the game and stole the game last week. So Jamar, do your brother Jamar Chase, does his team go 0-3 or the Jets? They fall and beat the Jets team that we've been knowing them to be. What you got tomorrow?
Oh, no. The Bengals are about to destroy the Jets. That's exactly what's about to happen. I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow and that team is very upset by how they let 2 games slip away and the fact they can't protect the man. I think he got sacked, 13 times, knocked down too many times. No. Bengals can't lose this game. Bengals
with the new offensive line.
Yeah, the new and improved quote-unquote offensive line. I think that, in all honesty, I think there'll be a second half team because once they get that together, I think they'll probably go on a run later in the year. But Bengals win.
Yeah.
Actually, and so in this case, Jamar, since you're already there, Bills and Dolphins tomorrow. This is a big one. This probably for a lot of people shows us maybe who's the best team in the AFC and probably the league. Who you got tomorrow? Do the Dolphins pull off a surprise victory tomorrow and let people know hey, we here? Or do you got the Bills Mafia?
I'm going to take the team that I strongly believe is the best team in football, and I'm not saying that with 100% confidence because, as we know, Miami is a tough place to play at. We know this. And what Miami showed us last week in Baltimore showed us that this team is not a joke either. But I'm gonna have to take Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills because I firmly believe that they are the best team in football, and I cannot wait to watch this game. I cannot wait. Can't wait.
And who you got, bro?
It's a tricky game. You know, it's a division game down in Miami. Easily can get distracted. The Dolphins, they put up a pretty good comeback last week.
I heard Ime Udoka's down there.
Oh man.
Going down there, baby.
That's the last place you need to be. I'm gonna go Bills, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins pull that out. I would go Bills though.
Yeah, that's gonna be excellent. Frank, who you got, bro? Bills or Dolphins?
Division game, I always pick home teams. So this is going to be a spoiler alert for the Bills. Is that the Dolphins are going to slow them down, and it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be entertaining, but I think the Dolphins will come out on top.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. Man, I'm leaning towards the Dolphins, but I do think the Bills are the best team in football. I think the Bills pull us out in a late field goal. They pull us out late. I think this is a very competitive and fun game, though. Definitely want to watch it. So yeah. Jamar, the Eagles at the Commanders. The Eagles, y'all, they look good they first 2 weeks. Do they keep this going? Are the Eagles for real, Jamar?
Based on the Eagles schedule, our boy Deshaun Reed pointed this out to me about a week ago. Eagles might mess around and be the 1 seed in the NFC. I'm just throwing that out there. I do firmly believe in the Eagles. I do not believe in Commander Carson and these troops out here. I'm taking Eagles gang here by far. Fly Eagles fly hashtag.
And do Carson Wentz get revenge, and does he get revenge against the Eagles tomorrow?
It's a tough game. The Eagles, they've been looking real good, like they've been putting it together. Pretty proud of Jalen Hurts and how he's been playing. But Washington has weapons. If Carson can come out and play good, this could easily be a wild shootout. They both have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Both defenses are pretty solid and young. I'm gonna take Washington for an upset.
Action. Interesting. All right. Yeah. Frank, who you got, bro? You got the Eagles or the Commanders?
I will go the Eagles. I think they're looking pretty good. So if it's simple, they will win that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Eagles as well. I picked against Commanders last week, and so maybe I'm their good luck charm. Maybe they'll win this week, but the way the Eagles look, they look like a pretty complete team. And I think they pound the rock tomorrow, and eventually weigh down the Commanders. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles. But check this out, y'all. The Lions have the chance to be 2-1 tomorrow. Check this out. And so, do the Vikings spoil that at home, Jamar? So who you got between the Lions and the Vikings? I really like this game. It's an interesting game right here.
It is. I stated that I am high on the Vikings offense this year, but I think the Lions win this game. I do. I remember last year when the Lions was at Minnesota, in my head, the Lions won that game. 13 seconds left in the game. Just like right. Kansas City and Buffalo, Adam Thielen happened twice and they ended up kicking the game with a field goal. Mm-hmm. I think the Lions get them on this one. No BS. I got Detroit.
Yeah, a lot of people, Frank, they feel like this Detroit team is a lot better. And so, all right. Ian, who you got, bro?
I ain't gonna lie to you. This answer might be biased because I'm pretty mad at Dalvin Cook. He's the reason I lost in fantasy by 1 point last week. He absolutely gave me nothing. He gave me nothing last week.
Yeah,
I should be 2-0, but
wow.
This should be a pretty good game, pretty interesting game. I like the culture that Dan Campbell was kind of trying to build in Detroit. I might be biased because I watch Hard Knocks, and I kind of fell in love with
It's a great show, man. It's great.
yeah, I kind of fell in love with the culture he's trying to push over there in Detroit. The Vikings, they came out. Kirk Cousins, he's almost like Jameis Winston. 1 week he throw for 4-5 touchdowns, throw 400 yards. It looked like the best offensive football. Then the next week, he can't stop throwing it to the other team. So I'm gonna go with Jamal. I'm gonna say Lions get this. They ain't playing the Bears, so I'm gonna go Lions.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Go
Frank, who you got with this one, man? Lions or Vikings?
I'm gonna take the Vikings. Actually, I think yes, Kirk Cousins goes up and down, and this will be one of the games where he goes up. So Vikings win this.
Very interesting. Yeah, I want to see the Lions win tomorrow. But unfortunately, by default, I gotta pick the Vikings. The Lions, in most cases, generally don't let me down. If the Lions, say it again, Jamar.
You said by default.
Yeah, by default. Remember I said week 1 that I'm gonna pick against the Lions because they're the Lions. And so I'm gonna pick the Vikings by default because I think the Lions are who we thought they were. But a lot of people feel that this is a good team. And so if they win this week, they are really gonna open my eyes and I'm gonna start to seriously pick this team. But until then, Jamar, I need more evidence. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings tomorrow at home.
Okay.
All right, Ravens at the Pats. Is Lamar Jackson, man, ticked off from last week, or is Mac Jones and the Patriots looking to spoil the party? Who you got, bro?
Look, I'm not sure if Dwayne Hawkins is watching right now. Look, I'm sorry, my brother, but I feel like Lamar Jackson is about to, do his thing. I think historically, Bill Belichick in that defense does not really do well with true dual threat quarterbacks. If I'm correct here. And also, I'm pretty sure they're pretty ticked off of how they lost that game. And I'm pretty sure all those Ravens legends got into their behinds about that one too. So a little extra motivation here. I definitely got Baltimore in this game.
Yeah. Ian, who you got, bro?
Baltimore in a blowout. I don't believe in the Pats. Baltimore in a blowout.
Frank, who you got?
I got Baltimore as well. That being said, the Patriots surprised me last week because I picked against them and then they won that game. And now that they're going home, they may want to prove something, but they're going to run against, a talented quarterback. So Ravens will win.
Yeah, I got the Ravens as well. I think the Ravens are the better football team. The Ravens better not go 1-2. Because if they do, it's gonna be like, man, really? Come on, man! Like you guys are supposed to be one of the top teams in football, and so it's some expectations for the Ravens. And so let's see if they meet them. So I'm gonna go with Baltimore tomorrow. The Jaguars, y'all, they are 1-1, and they got a chance to be 2-1. They are going up against the LA Chargers tomorrow. Did they go in LA, Jamal? Did they go way across from northern Florida to go to LA and pull off an upset? Who you got?
Hey, I need you to reintroduce the Jaguars, as in the current number 1 team in the AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars.
First place,
Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how we need to approach them for today. I just want to emphasize that for anybody that's watching that has any ties.
So in other words, Jamar, if the playoffs started today, the Jacksonville.
Yes,
That's in the playoffs.
Duval County will be in the playoffs. Man,
But hey, the tides have changed, man. The Jaguars and the Lions people fell out on something, and so but for real though, do you think the Jaguars really finna go into LA, Jamar, and beat the Chargers?
No, I don't. But I would say I don't think the game will be a blowout. I'll say that much. I don't think so. Jags, even though Jags showed me something last week. But I know the Chargers, have Super Bowl aspirations here. They're at home. They ain't got to fly across country. The Jags are. I mean, it's all in favor of the Chargers. But anybody that's betting, I kind of like the Jags to cover that spread of 7 points. I mean, I think that's a lot. So I got the Chargers winning.
Yeah. And who you got, bro?
I got the Chargers in a close game. Chargers in a close game.
Frank, who you got?
Man, this is tough because we don't know the status of the Chargers quarterback. I don't know if he's going to play or not. I think he's got hurt last week, missed a few practices. So I'm struggling to pick somebody here because I want to lean towards the Chargers, but I would easily pick them if I knew the status of their quarterback. If he's going to play, then they're easily going to win the game. But if he's not playing, then it's questionable. So I can just say Chargers, assuming that Justin Herbert plays.
Yeah. I think it looks like he'll play.
Okay, Chargers then.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers as well. If the Jaguars pull this out, though, eyebrows will be raised for sure. This is a big one, y'all. Green Bay at Tampa. If Green Bay win this game, then they open eyes again, Jamar, and be like, all right, the Packers are still the Packers. But if they lose, then the Rumbles gonna be like, all right, they need some wide receivers, etc. They missed Devontae Adams. And so who you got for this one? Packers or the Bucks?
I have Tampa. I have Tampa. I get it. There's no Mike Evans. He defended his quarterback. There's no Chris Godwin. But I feel like good old Lenny Fournette will show up. Lenny Fournette should have a big day. I feel like if Julio Jones plays, he'll be a factor. I feel like Russell Gage will still be a factor. I feel like even Cameron Brayton and Brashad Perriman will be a factor because I saw Brashad Perriman catch an incredible touchdown last week against the Saints. Yep. And I feel like the Bucs defense, their front seven is still pretty solid. So I'm taking Tampa.
Yep. And who you got, bro?
Tampa in a blowout. I think they get the offense kind of rolling no matter who plays this week. So I got Tampa in a blowout.
Wow. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with Tampa as well, just because I don't like the Packers. Frank, who you got?
Yeah, Tampa. They're gonna win this. It's gonna be a show of quarterbacks, but I think the Bucs come on top.
Yeah, that is true. And could this be the last time, guys, we see Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers on the same field together? We'll see. Yeah. So, all right. The Rams at the Cardinals. The Cardinals, y'all, they pulled out a surprise last week. They came back against the Raiders, who epically choked. And the Rams almost gave up the lead to the Falcons. Are the Rams on a Super Bowl hangover, or are they the real deal and they just, need to? It was just a bad first week against a really good Bills team. And so, who you got for this week, Jamar? The Rams or the Cardinals?
I don't believe in the Cardinals at all. But I would say Kyler Murray did his thing last week. That was sensational. But with that being said, last time I saw these two teams play, I felt like the Cardinals left the game early in the first quarter. I felt like they passed the sticks. I felt like, they went back right on the bus after the first quarter. I felt like they retired like Buddy did from the Bills at halftime a few years ago. I feel like that's how bad the Rams made the Cardinals look last time. I don't see anybody stopping number 99. I don't. That was the one that really created havoc. I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Rams in the beatdown. I'm sorry.
And who you got, bro?
Put some respect on my dog Kyler Murray name, man.
No.
He did his thing last week, man. He came through with the clutch. Did his thing last week, man. I was proud of him, man. He made me look good. I'm always taking up for it. Made me look good last week. But this one is a tough one. I love the Rams. What they doing over there? It's hard to go against the Rams, and honestly, I would pick the Cardinals, but They don't have D Hop right now, so it's pretty tough.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go LA. I'm gonna go Rams. I'm gonna go LA.
And no James Conner.
James Conner tomorrow. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm
So
gonna
all right.
go Rams.
And Frank, Rams or Cardinals, bro? Who you got?
So this is another division game, and I know I just said, division games, you pick the home teams, but not when it's a defending champs. So Rams are going to win this. I think they're playing pretty well. They had a little shock up against the Bears, but they win this. Hey.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I think they got a better team. The Falcons, 0-2 at the Seahawks. Check this out, Jamar. Geno Smith could be 2-1 tomorrow, man, with the Seahawks. So who you got, the Falcons or the Seahawks?
Why does ugly games exist? Like, why? Why?
I don't know where to vote it.
I don't
Ask
even
Elliot.
pick this. I guess because Seattle's at home, I'm picking Seattle. I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Seahawks.
Somebody got to win.
My God. I mean, ask the coach. Never mind. I'm sorry.
So yeah, Jamar, you got the Seahawks. Ian, who you got, bro?
Surprisingly, I got the Falcons. I got the Falcons. Drake London goes crazy. I got the Falcons.
Yeah, this is an interesting game, man. Frank, who you got, the Falcons or the Seahawks? You're mute, Frank. We can't hear you, Frank. You're mute.
I'm sorry. The Seahawks are going to win that game. They're playing better than the Falcons, so they should win this, and they're at home.
Yeah, I'm like Ian. I'm gonna go with the Falcons tomorrow. I think they're a pretty decent team. The Seahawks, I think they're a bad football team, Jamar. They stunk. I think they was just really high off emotion. The other day with the Russell Wilson coming back. But other than that, overall in the preseason and even last week, they stunk. And so I think the Falcons come and get their first well-deserved win. The 49ers at the Broncos, Jimmy G against Russell Wilson. Who you got for this one, Jamar? This is a tough game for me.
Let's ride. I'm taking the Broncos, man. I'm taking the Broncos. It's like look, the first 2 weeks, I get it. Like, their offense is like just dysfunctional and just seem like they just can't put anything together. And the combination, it's just hit and miss. Look, they can't get any worse than that offense. And that offense, you still got to respect it. Defense is still solid. They're at Mile High. Look, it's a primetime game, dude. Russ got to come out and look a lot better. I think he is. He's still Russ. So we're going to ride.
All right. Broncos. Ian, what you got, bro?
I am going to go with the Russell Wilson team over here. And he's playing against his former team. I think he's got something to prove to them. So, Broncos are going to win it.
Action. Ian, who you got, bro?
Pretty tough game. I need a big game from Jerry Jeudy for my fantasy, so I'm hoping the Broncos have a big game. So I'm gonna go Broncos. It's a tough game to pick, but I'm gonna go Broncos.
All right. I will say this. The head coach for the Broncos has been incompetent for the first 2 weeks. And so hopefully that streak does not continue. Because Kyle Shanahan is not incompetent. He will coach well. And so, but I'm gonna go with the Broncos because the Broncos offense looks great. They really do. Yep. So I'm gonna go with the Broncos for that reason. I'm gonna stick with them. Ian, for tomorrow, you start us off, bro. Who you got? The Cowboys or the Giants?
Cowboys or the Giants? No. Giants.
Ooh, so you said the Giants gonna be 3-0.
3-0. Giants coming out 3-0. You heard it here first. Giants.
Giants.
Kenny Galladay probably gonna have a big day tomorrow. Giants.
Like okay. Frank, who you got?
First of all, I don't think this should be a Monday night football game. I want to put Bills and Dolphins in that cup.
Right.
I don't get it. I will go with Ian here. Giants will go 3-0. Surprising team of the season. So why not?
Right. Yeah. It's an extra one. Just an ADHD moment, y'all. Y'all remember the Little Giants movie? Remember that movie?
Yeah,
I remember. Yep.
Classic.
Icebox.
Classic.
Jamar, bro, who you got? The Cowboys or the Giants?
Bro, I feel like Ian, man. Why they keep putting Dallas on primetime games, bro? Like, what are we doing here? Why do we have Cooper Rush out here going against Daniel Jones? I mean, like the Giants before this year, I get it, but at least they're 2-0. At least Daniel Jones got some grit. At least the Giants has a pulse. Man, Giants, man. Give me the Giants. Get Dallas out of here. I'm sick of looking at them on primetime. Get off my TV.
Exactly.
So yeah. It looks like we across the board here because I got the Giants too. The Giants, I wouldn't imagine, man. Giants 3-0 possibly. So yeah. But Cooper Rush, who knows, man, he might come out as surprises. And if he do, then guess what, Ian, Jamar, and Frank, we gonna get a lot more media of the Cowboys.
For sure. For sure.
All throughout the week if the Cowboys win with Cooper Rush. So they win, get your popcorn ready. Know what to expect. All right. Well, that concludes our picks this morning for the NFL. And so, yes, our brother Jamar will definitely do his due diligence to, give us what is out there. Congrats to Aja Wilson, by the way, y'all. Chelsea Gray, who was the WNBA Finals MVP. And, bro, she was a walking bucket the entire playoffs. Killing Chelsea Gray. Killing. And so last year, as y'all know, our Scott took the championship. But the Aces was like, man, the only reason why we win last year is because Kelsey Plum was injured. And so they came back this year, though, and they won. They put a hurting on the Connecticut Sun. And so congrats to them. A first-year head coach under that Greg Popovich coaching tree, Becky Hammond, and the Las Vegas Aces are winning their first WNBA title. And so, yes, just this will be our last analysis for this morning. Then after this, fellas, we'll kind of do some FYI stuff. 22-23 NBA player rankings. I just want to know, fellas, if y'all like this or do y'all have any issues with it? And so, Jamar, just, I want to know your feelings, and you as well, Frank. The 2022-23 NBA rankings have Devin Booker is number 10. Ja Morant is number 9. KD is number 8. Jason Tatum is number 7. 6 as LeBron. 5, Steph Curry. 4, Joel Embiid. 3, Luka Doncic. 2, Nikola Jokic, and 1, Giannis. And so, Frank, shout out to international players, man. We got the top 4 players in the NBA right now, international based. Just an FYI. Right. So with this list, I'm just curious, fellas, do you guys got a problem with this list anywhere?
Big time problem.
Go ahead, Ian.
I do.
How can we have the Finals MVP? He basically won everything except MVP last year. He's not the number 1 player in the NBA. I don't.
Steph Curry, you feel like is the number 1 player in the NBA?
Yeah, for sure. He's the top dog right now. I mean, he in his prime. I mean, I don't see why. I don't see why he wouldn't be number 1 right now.
That is deep. That is very deep. Frank, you are big into hooping, man. Who is there any issues you have with this list?
Yeah, there's an issue here. I think KD at number 8 is weird. LeBron at number 6 is also weird. I don't see how Luca and I don't see how Luca is better than KD, right? I think KD is way better. You put Luca in the Nets team, and they're gonna be not that good. It put KD in the Dallas team, and they're gonna be really good. So I don't understand how this ranking came about, and I can apply the same to LeBron and Luca, for example. So yeah, Giannis is right where he needs to be. Number one best player in the world. He's proven it. He's taken a mediocre team to the finals, and they've won. So he's definitely earned my respect. I don't think that Doncic and my guy from Denver, what's his name?
Jokic.
Jokic. Yeah, I don't think they're in the right spot. I will have put those two in the position where LeBron and KD are, and bring those guys up just because of the reputation. They've gone all the way with multiple teams, and they've proven that they own the league. I think it's a little bit of disrespect to rank them that low. And then Luca hasn't, I guess last year they beat the Phoenix Suns, so maybe he's starting to prove that he can, drive a team towards something, but he still hasn't proven anything because they got whacked following the win with the Phoenix, and then the Golden State just showed them that they don't belong in that class. And then Jokic, he does very good during the regular season and struggles in the playoffs. So he still has to grow. And I don't think he's proven to be top 5 best player in the world. That's an overrated. So yes, I love my international guys. They're great. They're proving that basketball has grown, and lots of people love the game all over the world. But yeah, I think we may have given them a little bit too much, excitement. They're not that great yet. Giannis is the only exception.
Right. I just, Jamar, my bone with this list, bro, is Jason Tatum. And Jamar know, they know they've been rocking with me for years. Jason Tatum for me is not all that. He still has development in his game. So I don't know how the hell he's ahead of Kevin Durant, Ja Morant, or Devin Booker. I feel like Jason Tatum, if anybody, should be number 10 on this list. He should not even be like number 7. He's very high. And him being put above KD just alone is just a pure disrespect to KD and a pure disrespect to basketball. And so that is my bone to pick here with this list. Other than that,
but Jason Tatum did sweep KD, which is it's an argument on its own, right? You can say that KD didn't have a good team, but still, if you're KD, you shouldn't be swept by JT.
Yeah, he said KD home.
Yeah. And I think part of the reason, Ian and Frank, y'all, is the reason why they put him above KD right now is because they went to the finals, and because when you kind of saw them head to head in the playoffs, you saw that Jason Tatum and his team won. But I just think individually, no, I don't think he better than KD. So, Jamar,
man, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's a lot of recency bias to this list. A lot. Like, come on, bro. Like, look, first off, Giannis is where he's at, so I definitely agree with Frank there. Giannis is the best player in the world. You can't change my mind on that. Steph Curry should be definitely a lot higher than that. I feel like Devin Booker has no business on this list. As good as Devin Booker is, he doesn't play both ends of the court to an elite level. Jason Tatum being higher than Kevin Durant is laughable, even though Jason Tatum did, give him problems. But come on, man. Luka, as good as Luka is, I know he had, he took that Mavericks team to the Western Conference Finals. I let alone number 3.
Yeah, dude, not
higher than Embiid. Get out of here. Higher than LeBron. Higher than Steph. No. Luka is fabulous. Luka is fantastic. Just like what Brandon said. Like with Jason Tatum, there's still room for him to grow.
Yeah,
we talked about it. There's levels within the elite 1%. Luka just has to probably get in shape and actually, do enough on the defensive end to get in that category for me.
Almost there, but he ain't there yet.
Exactly. A forgotten name, because I know basketball season is around the corner. I'm gonna give you a little sneak preview. A forgotten name that needs to be on this list, and his team is going to be relevant, very relevant.
My favorite player in the league.
Nah.
What is it,
You
Jamar? Come on,
talking
you got us
about?
waiting.
Are you talking about number 11 in Chicago?
No, he's
Oh, okay.
he's
No.
the second. He's
No.
the second.
You talking about probably the guy I'm about to mention here. I'm talking about the Claw. The Claw.
Oh,
I wasn't
The
talking
Claw.
about him, but we forget based upon the injuries. That's why we forget.
right.
The Claw needs to be on this list at 10 at least. The Claw and the Clippers is going to be a real thing, but I'll say that for another month. But yeah, other than that, yeah, this list is a recency bias. I don't pay too much attention to it. It's almost like the NFL top 100 list. Like some of that stuff is just jacked up anyway. So there we go.
No Damian Lillard in the top 10.
No.
I would have him higher than Devin
right.
Booker. I would have him higher than Devin Booker.
Right, because if this
It's
is facts, if
it's
you
the
ask me
recent-
who's better,
It's the recent, what happened in, like Kawhi being injured, Dame being injured, that thing. So I kind of get that, but
facts, bro. Because if you ask me who's better, Damian Lillard or Devin Booker, I think we all say that Damian Lillard.
Big facts.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man. Y'all broke this list down. This is definitely recency bias. And so in that nutshell. So world college football notable games this week. 21 Wake Forest at 5 Clemson. 11 Tennessee at 20 Florida. Big SEC showdown. 23 Texas A&M and number 10 Arkansas. And we always love to shout out the HBCUs here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Mississippi Valley State at Jackson State University. And so those are some big games going on this week. Frank, just really quickly, bro, give us a really quick pick. Just so we build up this World Cup as it comes up, because this is a big deal in Jamar, as you know, around the world. Who is your pick to win it all for the World Cup? Who is your team?
For the World Cup? Man,
Boys from
the
Brazil.
World Cup
Look,
is,
I hear Brazil is the real deal, dog.
Mhm. Yeah, Brazil is always there. They always like, I'm gonna make advance far away. But who would come out on top? Oh man, it's tough. It's tough to come up because we're not watching the teams play up and down frequently. So I would say someone in South America. So Barcelona looks, Barcelona in Europe looks pretty good. No, we're talking about the World Cup. You got me there, sorry. World Cup, Brazil is good. I think they may make some noise because a lot of their players are playing in all the top leagues in the world. I can't come up with one specific team that's gonna, win it all at this time. I don't really.
What about Argentina?
Argentina is their players are getting pretty old and they have a younger team now. I think if I could pick among the top 5 that are on here, I'll actually lean towards France. So France has a pretty solid team, and they actually won the World Cup not long ago. And they
World Cup.
Right, and when they won that World Cup, their players were pretty young, and now they're a lot more.
Mbappé is the top in the world.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So they've gotten more experience, and they may defend this. But yeah, it might go French or Brazilian side.
Oh boy, you are boiling some up. This just FYI, Jamar, and I would love to see Brazil and France go at it in a World Cup. Oh my!
Big facts. Big
Okay.
facts.
That'd be
Man,
good,
that
Kev.
would be like a that would be like a Bills, I don't know, Dolphins tomorrow. Like it
Yeah.
would just be fireworks. And so yeah, just Ian and Jamar. I don't know if y'all want to chime in, but what y'all think? Y'all got anything with the World Cup? Any favorites you got going in?
Yeah. I am a fan of France this time around. Pretty sure they got one of, if not arguably the best player in the world on that team. France is good. Like Frank was saying, Brazil is always in the mix. I feel like Germany's, usually good, but they always be
That's
a
a good
letdown
one, bro.
somehow.
Mhm.
I will say this: I like the group that we're in. I do. We have a fighter's chance. I mean, all in all, like to be honest, the World Cup is one of my favorite events. I can't wait. I always every 4 years. I know last year should have been it, but nevertheless, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled here for the World Cup. So.
Somebody told me the United States is gonna win the World Cup. I said,
What? Huh? Who?
That's a long.
You mean
that's a
the
long
women's
stretch.
team?
I'm like, yeah, maybe the women's, but not the men.
Yeah, that's a long stretch.
That's a long
No.
stretch. And you got anything for this, bro? Anything? You got any favorite heading into the World Cup?
Not really a favorite, but long as it's exciting, which I know it'll be. Hey, I'm thrilled to tune in. Long as it's exciting, I'm thrilled to tune in.
I heard that, bro. I heard that in a nutshell. Yes, sir. And so definitely look out for Brazil, y'all, and definitely look out for France, England. It's going to be a lot of good teams. Argentina, Germany. The U.S. is in a very, very, let's say, winnable pool. Their biggest worry is England. And so it's there's a lot of opportunities out there. By the way, watch Nigeria, y'all. Watch some of those African teams, because Nigeria is definitely a good team as well. And so, all right, y'all. Lastly, bad news, guys. Bad news. Our Chicago White Sox, as has been lately, they have begun to lose ground and traction for first place in the AL Central. And they are now 7 games out of the lead for first place in the AL Central. After the Cleveland Guardians, Jonathan Abernathy, have taken complete control of this division. And our White Sox are now 6.5 games out of second place for the AL wild card. And so with less than 2 weeks to go and about 10 days to go in the season, it kind of technically means, guys, that the 2022 edition of the Chicago White Sox will not make the playoffs. And so, yes, I don't know, Jamar and Ian, if this excites you as White Sox fans, but I'm sure it possibly will, because this would mean that our man, our great manager, will possibly be moving on to different things. And so, yeah, Jamar, Ian, just an FYI, guys. And so, yes, White Sox are looking like they're out of the playoff picture. And lastly, congrats to Albert Pujols, Team 700. He is a part of an elite club. And so he is now in history forever among the greats. And so, as we end this show this morning, I want to ask you, gentlemen, as we do every weekend, any final thoughts or shout outs. And so, Jamar, you can start us off and you chime in, and then Frank, you give us a word as well. And so, any final thoughts or shout out, guys, as we head into the weekend?
So the last thing I'm gonna say is, we've been talking about Ime Udoka, we've been talking about Deshaun Watson, we've been talking about a number of things, but I just want to bring to people's attention. I'm pretty sure a lot of us know, but Brett Favre, stealing welfare money out of Mississippi, not getting enough attention. Yeah, I see it on ESPN for a small second or two, but it's not like a full-blown story like Ime Udoka right now for whatever reason.
Right.
The man stole $5 million out the poorest state's welfare money to build a volleyball facility for his daughter. Ain't nobody talking about that. Text messages show like, hey, you think the media gonna find out? Like, knowing he's knowingly doing wrong. Ain't nobody talking about that. But I guess, keep that same energy.
Yep.
Yep. And any final thoughts or shout outs, bro?
Man, Jamar kind of took it out my mouth, man. Just like you said, keep that same energy. You take 5 million out of our poorest state in our country. They seeing their water a couple weeks ago. It looks like toilet water, dude. Like in their capital city. So I've only probably seen one person probably really grill him on TV, and that was Shannon Sharp, and that was last week. So it's been a whole week, since this just came out. We haven't seen as much coverage as we've seen on the Celtics coach. So that's pretty disappointing, but it really isn't, because that's just the world we live in. So they need to obviously they need to shed more light on it. But beyond that, shout out to, like you said, shout out to Albert Pujols, 700 Club. He's been crushing them. Aaron Judge, he's been crushing them too. I think he's at 60 now, I believe.
Yeah, he's somewhere in them 60s.
Yeah, he just hit 60 last week. I get alerts every other day, every day. One of them are crushing something. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Asia Wilson. That's my girl, for finishing off an incredible season. And that's pretty much it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Frank, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Final thoughts. I am looking forward to see what goes. I think they brought too much media to themselves than necessary. And then to add to that, I think they have a couple of injuries. Logan Hari and Robert Williams, I think they've reported they may be out for a long stretch of next season.
Yeah.
So that's going to lead into some culture shock come next season when the games start. Because number one, you have all this mountain of a story that's going to pretty much be constant discussion. And then you have these injuries that might affect how good your team is. And so if they start going down really quick, then it's just going to be, constant chaos. And what are they going to do with the coach? Are they going to fire him? Are they going to keep him? Give us a decision? And people are going to keep asking and asking and asking. So I'm really curious to see what they do in the next few weeks before the preseason starts, and then how the season starts for them. But as far as shout outs, I'll send it your way. Shout out to you out there. You guys are pretty entertaining out there. I've been enjoying hanging out with you this morning. So I look forward to doing it again. And I appreciate being on here first time.
Thank you, Frank. We appreciate that, brother.
Appreciate that.
I had a great time with you this morning as well, man. Myself, Ian, and Jamar. I just want to state in my final thoughts, Chicago White Sox. We have been, Frank, consistently not really being so sure about the current manager. And so now that we see that we're not going to the playoffs, there will be rumblings now to talk about the future of the manager for the Chicago White Sox. And so we had a great team. We had, at least on paper we did, right? And on paper we had one of the teams that we was expecting to try to make a deep playoff run. And so we never got a chance to do that this season. And so it will be a big spotlight on the south side of Chicago with the White Sox going forward. And then lastly, I do want to state, please put spotlight more on these white guys, because Ime Udoka is a black guy, and all this stuff with him is just all over the place. I think part of that is because his wife is Nia Long, et cetera, and people just, like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
But even amongst that, let's put some more spotlight on this Brett Favre situation, because like you stated, Ian, Mississippi is the poorest state in the United States, bro. And you literally take $5 million out of that state, which can be used for many public things for youth in Mississippi.
Welfare system at that.
Right now. Go ahead, bro.
The welfare system at that.
Yeah, and you look at the water situation right now there, so it's a pretty poor state, man. And so put more spotlight on that, and not try to hide him just because he's a white male. And so with that being said, we thank you all for tuning in with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. It was great chopping it up with all of you this morning. Thanks for all the participation in the conversation. and may that each of you have a blessed, safe, and productive weekend. Peace.
Peace.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Frank.